Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another take of Zooming with Kaymitch. I'm excited to be having another take and be able to share another person's journey with you all. So, with 1 second, we're going to wait on him to get on. Go ahead and add him.
Hold on, I'm almost there.
You good?
Almost, hold on. Trying to do two things at one time. There we go. I think it's coming.
There we go.
Oh,
Hello, hello.
how are you?
I am good. How are you today?
Hey, I can't complain.
Yeah.
Can't complain. We're going to the Sparks Beaver game tonight
Excited.
as a program, and we're doing a
Uh-huh.
little what's it called, like a pop-up meetup type thing with alumni and boosters and all that. So
That's
it'll
awesome.
be it'll be fun.
That's gonna be super. That's gonna be super fun.
Yeah, well, the first I think originally it was 5 games were supposed to be at our place at the Pyramid because they were doing renovations at Crypto.
Uh-huh.
They ended up changing that,
Yeah, it
so
would have been so cool for y'all to have those games there. Y'all
we
have
lost. I mean,
sports.
the first two were good, like because it was opening night, and on Tuesday there was a game. Who was it? The Mystics
Uh-huh.
came down, and so it was. I mean, it was cool. It was
That
awesome.
would be so cool to see them go against the Fever and Caitlin Clark and just see how, you know all the hype around all of that. So
And I know. I told everyone I want to see her get punked
Mhm.
just because she's a rookie. But also, I want her to just do a few pull-up threes and just flex a little bit, you know?
You know she guaranteed for a few of them.
That hopefully.
But I really appreciate you taking, like I said, some time out to be a part of my Zooming with K Mitch. Without further ado, we'll get started. So why don't you go ahead and kind of introduce yourself?
Well, my name is Brian Rosario. I'm the assistant women's basketball coach at Long Beach State. Originally from California, but have coached over 20 years collegiately, 25 overall, and really just excited to be part of a great sport and a great game.
hmm With being such a veteran coach as yourself, the first question is just kind of can you just give a small, talk into your journey about just becoming a basketball coach?
Man, well, it started with, really falling into it. I was a practice player. Excuse me. You might have to do this again.
No,
No.
we're good. We're rolling. We're good.
No, I was a practice player at the University of San Diego and was very fortunate to be mentored by amazing people who really kind of gave me the love for
Mhm.
coaching, especially at this level, because I had no idea outside of, I knew there were games,
Yeah.
but, being on the inside of a program, it just really took off from there and was fortunate to coach all over the country, something that, you know, I would live in places that I never thought I would live in, let alone drive
Right.
through,
Uh-huh.
so from McNeese to Cumberland to Cornell, back home to LMU, spent some time in the youth
Mhm.
arena in Indiana, and then was able to run my own program at Chandler Gilbert in Arizona before coming back home, spending some time at Pepperdine, and now, I'm just at another beach,
Mhm.
at Long Beach State now. But it's been great. My career has been full, and have had a lot of mentors. Um, Hopefully guide me the right way, which is allowing me to do it for 20 years now.
Absolutely. That's so amazing. Like you said, basketball will take you places you never even dreamed or thought. And to be a part of that for so long just speaks character into how you're able to, create longevity, to always evolve, to always, because it's different 20 years ago, recruiting and all that to it is now. So your adaptability, it just speaks a lot about your character and the reason why I really wanted to, get you on this call and everything. So thank you for sharing, a little bit of your journey.
Yeah.
um, being a part of different programs, I know that you're really heavily on player development. So what do you say is key to developing like all-American players?
Well, I mean, I think you gotta understand where they are currently
Mhm,
in terms of their skill sets, their mentality, maybe what age they are, but you got to connect it somehow to where they want to take their game.
mhm,
I think we were privy to at this level, at the Division 1 level, we're
uh-huh,
privy to players who have aspirations to play pro, and obviously you got the W that they can all look towards, but
right,
the experience of playing overseas. I mean, there's countless players who want to achieve that so that they can live through the game. But playing pro, you got to have certain skill sets.
mhm,
I think I've always kind of leaned on the ability to have a foundation point in their game. So if they are shooters, they got to become really great shooters,
right,
and then connecting it with a soft skill, so to speak. So, with shooting, there has to be somewhat of really good ball handling. Look at
mhm,
Steph Curry, look at Caitlin Clark. I mean, they are really good ball handlers that then allow them to be great basketball shooters,
mhm,
and then so I think it's just trying to find that rep count that is pushing against boredom, but also pushing
right,
against the breaking point where they can really understand, their skill set and their trade. I like to mix up three different types of workouts,
mhm,
throughout the course of whether it's a week or a month or a season, where it is technique, where they really have to break down the technique
mhm,
of their game. There's the game shots, so high intensity, high reps, high the counts of really getting their blood pressure up so it can
right,
match the game. And then
right,
I think it's based on what you do. So the actions, the play calls, some of the skills that are coming out of sets or actions, and
mhm,
how can we kind of get more efficient with their games. But I mean, that's the fun part, and then you lay film work on top of it, and I
yeah,
think it's just a total package of taking someone where they want to go, but they just don't know how to get there, and,
uh-huh.
and that's the fun part.
Absolutely. Like I tell my players, it's always so fun when we work on something and then I see them in the game and they do it and they point at me. That makes me know, like, okay, they paying attention, they watching, but the way that you broke it down, like you said, you have to have some type of foundation. What are you best at? Okay, what can we add to make that a little bit better for you to get your shot off?
Right.
And so I just think, like how you said, you got to start with a foundation and then we can start building to those pieces. Absolutely. Depending on their age, like if they're a sophomore or junior. And then that's when you can kind of see, okay, the timeline. What do I want them to know or accomplish by then? And so I think that's great how you break all of that down for your players.
Right. And
Absolutely.
I think it's hard too with today's landscape of, instant gratification.
Yes.
And I think the magic in coaching now is how can we challenge the delayed gratification where they understand the work
Mhm.
and the track and maybe the path that they have to get on to then really execute and feel the benefit of all that work. And I think it's a dying art, but I think athletes in general know that because they know they
Right.
just can't do what they do,
Right.
without some of that work.
Work. Yeah. Yeah. Like you were saying, the instant gratification is making it a little bit tougher because it's like, man, we worked on this all week. Why am I still missing? It's just like you got to
Right.
give it time. And I think it is a little bit more fulfilling when you realize, like, okay, I grinded hard for this. Okay, now I'm seeing it pay off.
That's
Absolutely.
right. That's right.
Next question. What important factors to you do you feel like separate good programs versus great programs?
Well, I think there's two. I think as coaches, we always defer to our recruiting, our pipeline of players coming in.
Mhm.
But I also think it's really the um, the sustainability of a staff and its personalities that then can be trusted by the players, right? Because good players come into the program. Obviously, you have a game plan and a strategy of player development by the coaches, but to be able to really buy in and develop players during their 4 years with you, I mean, that's the magic, and I think when you have turnover, and you're going to have some turnover, but when you have, a lot of turnover year after year, I think it's hard for players to buy in
Yeah.
and trust those coaches because now they're having to learn a new personality every year, whether it's one or two every year.
Mhm,
So I think that obviously is a separator.
mhm.
But then I also think it's just the ability to do the work with those student athletes. I'm a firm believer that, the deeper the relationship that you have with that player, the more you can get out of it. So if the
Absolutely.
staff is efficient with building those relationships, the staff is efficient with writing a really good player development plan, or just, what they do,
Right.
then you have the players to do it. I think it's really the magic to get the results, which is the winning part, and the outside perception of that program is, wow, they can really do the work. And when you kind of tear that out and really look at the center of that onion, so to speak, it really is really good players, sustainable staff, and then the trust to work with each other.
Yeah. Not even thinking about it, but that sustaining the staff is very important. Like you said, not only just new personality, but now you got to be able to teach them. Or,
Right.
whenever you have a staff for a long time, like a South Carolina or a UConn that, or Iowa had their staff for years, they know the ins and outs. So they don't always have to go to the head coach about that's super busy. And
That's
so
right.
you just kind of have that trust in your staff and those players know, okay, I can, my coach has been here for a long time. I can trust them, and now I'm working to get them to trust me. And so I think that's definitely a huge separator for sure.
Right.
Absolutely.